Hello everyone, my name is Miranda Leticia Lopez Aguirre and today I'm going to summarize you with this video the content of Unit 3 of the biology book, the Biosphere. Well, not actually me. 3.1 What is ecology? Ecology is the scientific study of interactions among organisms and between organisms and their physical environment. Ecological studies may focus on levels of organization that include these ones. Individual organism. A species is a group of similar organisms. A population is a group of individuals that belong to the same species. Community. An assemblage of different populations that live together in a defined area. Ecosystem. All the organisms that live in a place, together with their physical environment. Biome. A group of ecosystems that share similar climates and typical organisms. Biosphere. It consists of all life on Earth and all the parts of the Earth in which life exists. Now that we've seen what levels of organization ecology studies, we can go on and know what biotic and abiotic factors are. The biological influences on organisms are called biotic factors. A biotic factor is any living part of the environment with which an organism might interact, including animals, plants, mushrooms, and bacteria. Meanwhile, physical components of an ecosystem are called abiotic factors. An abiotic factor is any non-living part of the environment. Biotic and abiotic factors can be present together in many parts of an ecosystem. Many physical factors can be strongly influenced by the activities of organisms. This kind of dynamic mix of biotic and abiotic factors shapes every environment. Ecological methods. Modern ecologists use three methods in their work. Observation. It is often the first step in asking ecological questions. These questions may form the first step in designing experiments and models. Experimentation. Experiments can be used to test hypotheses. Ecologists can set up an artificial environment or other experiment they can use carefully alter conditions in selected parts of natural ecosystems. Modeling. Many ecological events occur over such long periods of time or over such large distances that they are difficult to study directly. Ecologists may use models, which consist of mathematical formulas based on data collected through observation and experimentation. 3.2 Energy producers and consumers. Living systems operate by expending energy. Autotrophs use solar or chemical energy to produce food by assembling inorganic compounds into complex organic molecules. Autotrophs are also called primary producers. Primary producers are the first producers of energy-rich compounds that are later used by other organisms. Energy from the sun. Photosynthesis captures light energy and uses it to power chemical reactions that convert carbon dioxide and water into oxygen and energy-rich carbohydrates, such as sugars and starches. Life without light. Chemosynthesis is a process in which organisms use chemical energy to produce carbohydrates. Consumers. Animals, fungi, and many bacteria cannot directly harness energy, so they are known as heterotrophs, since they must acquire energy from other organisms by ingesting them in any way or another. They are also called consumers, organisms that rely on other organisms for energy and nutrients. Consumers are classified by the ways in which they acquire energy and nutrients. Carnivores kill and eat other animals. Herbivores eat plants, leaves, roots, seeds, or fruits. Scavengers eat the carcasses of other animals that have been killed by predators or have died of other causes. Omnivores eat different foods, both plants and animals. Decomposers feed by chemically breaking down organic matter, in this process they produce detritus. Detritivores eat those detritus particles. They also commonly digest decomposers that live on and in detritus particles. Consumers' categories often don't express the real complexity of nature. Organisms in nature often do not stay inside the tidy categories ecologists place them in. 3.3 Energy flow in ecosystems. Energy flows through an ecosystem in one-way stream, from primary producers to various consumers. A food chain is a series of steps in which organisms transfer energy by eating and being eaten. Feeding relationships are much more complicated than the relationships in a chain. One reason for this is that many animals eat more than one kind of food. Ecologists call this network of feeding interactions a food chain. Decomposers and detritivores are as important in most foodways as other consumers are. In the detritus pathway, decomposers convert the dead material to detritus, which is eaten by the detritivores. The decomposition process releases nutrients that can be used by primary producers. Thus, decomposers recycle nutrients in food webs. Trophic levels and ecological pyramids. Each step in a food chain or food web is called a trophic level. One way to illustrate the trophic levels in an ecosystem is with an ecological pyramid. Ecological pyramids show the relative amount of energy or matter contained within each trophic level in a given food chain or food web. Pyramids of energy. Pyramids of energy show the relative amount of energy available at each trophic level or a food chain or food web. Pyramid of biomass. A pyramid of biomass illustrates the relative amount of living organic matter available at each trophic level in an ecosystem. Biomass is the total amount of living tissue within a given trophic level. Pyramid of numbers. A pyramid of numbers shows the relative number of individual organisms at each trophic level in an ecosystem.